Hello, everybody. Welcome to NUFC Talk. 4 years ago today, Newcastle United's takeover happened. Finally freeing NUFC from Mike Ashley. Time flies when you're having fun. 2 stints of Europe in a long-awaited silverware now belongs to the Toon. Where were you when you heard the news? Keith Downie debunks any theory of Wissa being out for the season with an ACL injury and says Newcastle remain confident that Wissa will be back in and around a month's time. Paul Scholes thinks Tonali is the best midfielder in the Premier League. A little dig to an Arsenal fan that said Declan Rice is better. But he also said it's about time Tonali is getting recognized for what he brings to the game. Talking about Tonali, his agent had a meeting with Tonali involved, I think somewhere around that, that's sparking some kind of rumor of a possible Newcastle exit. We'll talk about that, of course, and see what the lads think. When will Newcastle United offer him a new contract? That should be a priority, really, amidst what happened with Alexander Isak. Anthony Gordon is back with England and has compared Walter Matthäus' style to Harry Kane. Me and Gordon think alike. I don't know if I like that or not. But we'll talk about that, of course. We'll be hearing him later on. Bruno Guimaraes speaks on Malik Thiaw and Sven Botman's partnership, saying they are the future of this club. Eintracht Frankfurt will have William Osula on their radar for winter the winter transfer window, and contact with his management remains ongoing as they want to get him on a loan deal. But we'll talk about that later on, of course. So for that and more, stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button. Send in your super chats. Become a member if you can. We're live on NUFC Talk. Let's go.
The time is now.
To Keith Downie in just a moment. He is just completing a phone call, and after he's completed that phone call, he can give us the good news that Newcastle fans have been waiting for.
Yeah, Rob, sorry about that. The phone's been very busy today. Finally, the Newcastle United supporters have got what they have wanted for a long time, for 18 months of this takeover saga, for 14 years of Mike Ashley's stewardship. The Premier League statement, which we've been waiting for all day long, has just landed in my inbox in the last minute. I'll read it to you, and I'll read every word of it. It says, the Premier League, Newcastle United Football Club and St James's Holdings Limited, of course that's Mike Ashley's company, have today settled the dispute over the takeover of the club by the consortium of PIF, PCP Capital Partners and the Reuben Brothers Sports and Media Company. Following the completion of the Premier League's owners and directors test, the club has been sold to the consortium with immediate effect. They say the legal disputes concerned which entities would own and or have the ability to control the club following the takeover. So they say the legal disputes concerned which entities would own and or have the ability to control the club following the takeover. But all parties have agreed that the settlement is necessary to end the long uncertainty for fans over the club's ownership. The Premier League has now received what they say legally binding assurances that the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia will not control Newcastle United Football Club, but the consortium will, of course, which of 80% of that is a public investment fund of Saudi Arabia. So they've proved the separation, they have those legal documents. And they finally say this in the statement, the Premier League, they say, all parties are pleased to have concluded this process, which gives certainty and clarity to Newcastle United Football Club and their fans. So that's a statement that has just dropped in the last few minutes from the Premier League. That is what we've been waiting for, and I suppose that is why everyone has just had that little bit of uncertainty, because although Newcastle were happy with the deal, although we told you half an hour ago the shares had transferred, the money had been deposited, it still needed to get that rubber stamp from the Premier League. Here it is in black and white.
In black and white, literally, ladies and gentlemen. Happy anniversary to all the Magpies across the world. Welcome to the panel, Tim, Peter, Boki, Jamie, and the Mighty Win. How are you guys? Happy anniversary to everyone out there.
Happy anniversary.
Good.
How's it going?
Yeah.
Only Wayne got out there when to get pissed, but everybody else got a job. So, but either way, how's it going? All good?
Doing good. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's been 4 years. I mean, unbelievable, isn't it? How it was. That was just yesterday, man. I think my daughter was born in 22.
Tempest Fugit.
Yeah, man, that was just not too long ago that the takeover happened.
Yeah,
and,
flew by.
Yeah, it's interesting. A lot we have definitely achieved a lot in these young 4 years of this takeover. I think we can agree with that. And but I mean, yeah, what do you make of it, of this first 4 years of this milestone, really? Because it was extremely bad before. Really, in my personal life as a fan, it's always been bad. I've never had any good experiences. It being a fan, as far as results or even just watching the football, obviously, never had really any good. I mean, I remember Mike Ashley. I remember times before he took over, but they're like just snippets, but not really. I remember Novi Solano playing, and when he scored against the Maccombs, a penalty against the Maccombs. I remember Alan Shearer scoring his last goal, white shorts against the Maccombs. So I remember that stuff. It might even been with Mike Ashley. When he take over Newcastle?
2009.
Okay, so
2007,
2005 or so. So yeah, I remember those snippets, but never really never no Champions League. I remember Europe, sometimes, but nothing to what we got now. So, but what do you make of this first 4 years? I mean, it's certainly been exciting to see. Mighty Win, you go first. So, what do you make of this whole 4 years? There you go. Happy clapping.
You're out your mind, man.
There you go.
That's what it's been in comparison. I mean, you couldn't really write the script in 4 years. Champions League twice, first trophy for 70 years. What more could anyone reasonably wish for, given the fact that within months of the takeover, the Premier League, the cartel got together and said, this ain't gonna happen. We can't have another Chelsea. We can't have another Man City. What can we do to stop this happening? And they did it. And they put the shackles on straight away, which meant that we couldn't do with Chelsea or a Man City. So we've had to grow organically. And the worst thing about that was that revenue-wise, Mike Ashley had spent no effort at all in generating commercial revenue for the club, because all he was interested in was having a massive build poster for Sports Direct.
But
he didn't want anybody taking that over, so we had our hands tied behind our backs from the start. But what's been achieved for me is remarkable.
You are right, 100%. I mean, but all owners want to make money. PIF wants to make money, but the balance was the issue. That it was really no balance. It was unfair and unjust, and basically 99% about making money, and not even 1%. Well, maybe the 1% he wanted to keep us in the Premier League. Maybe that's what that's what it was about. But Jamie, I mean, certainly you have seen tough times, good times. Not really. You're still on the younger side. So maybe not many. Well, I mean, the Keegan times. You were.
I was there. Yeah, that season ticket throughout all that, and I think that's a really good point, because for me, this period is the best. It's without equal, because those Keegan times, they were great to watch. We got established in the Premier League, but we didn't win anything. We didn't get to play in the Champions League. We did under Dalglish, but we went out in the group stage. Same with the Bobby Robson times, they were great, but they ultimately crashed on the rocks. This time, the key thing is that trophy and that day at Wembley. Even there's part of me, well, I've even said out loud, even if that's all that it delivers, it's still the best. That it's worth it for that day. But to get 2 Champions League campaigns, and I think we'll see a new first this year. I think this is the first time we'll see Newcastle play a Champions League knockout tie this year. And it's not just the good times and the good games like Paris Saint-Germain, like the semi-final with Arsenal. It's the fact that it's building and building and building. And, you know, all right, we had that 7th place finish. There was reasons. We've had a couple of stutters lately, but you still believe in this team and you believe in the fact that they can go on and do something this season, or maybe it's not necessarily win something, although they've got a chance, but win something next season. And there's been bits that could be done better. I'd have been shocked that if you told me 4 years ago that there wouldn't be any announcement on training grounds and stadiums, and they dragged their feet a little there. But hopefully we'll see that soon. And we've had the good times, and we can look forward to more good times in future. So, yeah, brilliant. Everything we could have asked for.
Well put there. We got to go for the show, though. Help us reach 10 super chats. We got 2 in already from Warren Denning. We need 10 super chats tonight. Come on, let's celebrate. So please do that. But if it's not the time, just hit that like button on YouTube. It doesn't take anything.
Hit the subscribe.
Free.
8 short. 8
button.
short now. 8,000.
All right. So thank you. Queen of Heart there with the super chat. So happy anniversary. Takeover anniversary tune. There you go. And one from Warren Denning who said what?
He's on about
Tim, Jimmy, and Peter with what's that? Backs, win, and win.
Center backs.
Well, we're playing the 3. That's a good size. That's a good size right there. Back 3.
Can't imagine Wing getting up and down that wing with the fags he smokes.
Yeah. Okay, we got you on the wing back. Yeah, there we go.
To be fair, dude.
There you go. Hey, you be like, that's true. Hills Azar, they gifted a membership. That's going to Stephen Fawcett. So there you go, Stephen Fawcett. Please renew your membership once it's up. Thank you very much, Hills Husar. Thank you, mate. Thank you. And everybody getting involved, hit the like button. Let's help us reach 100 likes as well in this show. We got a long show ahead of us. But Tim, let me get your thoughts on the takeover. 4 years. Has it met your expectations? What do you make of it?
I think it's probably exceeded expectation after, like you say, win with the new rules coming in. But I think just to take it back to when it happens, I remember thinking that after all those struggles with my Ashley and we finally got took over, it happened to be when we were like second bottom. And a month in, I thought, you know what, we've got to take over, but the universe has said, okay, we're going to take my Ashley away from you, but the caveat is that you're going to have to get relegated and start again. Do you know what I mean? Which I would have took, absolutely. But that's what I thought was going to happen. That was going to be the trade-off. So thank God we stayed up like we did comfortably in the end. And since then, it just went from strength to strength, really. And I think, like you say, Jamie, I think it's kind of built on more solid ground. It's not to say that within the club there isn't things that need to improve in terms of DOF, etc., CEO, but just in terms of really the coach and the management, where I think everyone is on board and there's no like fractured relationships. There's a clear togetherness there. So I think the last 4 years, really, I think if you'd said to anybody when it happened, this is what it's going to look like, I'm not sure they would have believed you, really, because I think most people thought, okay, just steady progress, get top half, 8th, 7th, and then go from there. But to go from surviving and then Champions League the following season, I mean, some would say it's overachieving, but it is amazing. And to me as well, going back to supporting Newcastle, back in the day, to me it was normal for Newcastle to be in Europe because, I think I might be wrong, but I think it was the 7 of the previous 14 seasons before Mike Ashley took over, we were in Europe. Whether it was through FA Cup finalists qualification, whether it's through finishing, top 6. So, like, for me, it's just so good to get those European nights back, because to me, like, as a Newcastle supporter, that's what I was used to more often than not, sort of thing. So, and yet, just to touch upon Matt Ashley again, I think the weird thing about those 14 years was that it wasn't, in my opinion, it wasn't necessarily just incompetence, where you've got an owner trying to do the best and they're just failing. To me, it was just you had directors who were actively saying that we essentially don't want to have FA Cup runs, we don't want to be in Europe. And like you say, when they weren't actually looking to get deals to maximise the financial commercial revenue. So I don't think you're going to see that again really in football, where you're going to see incompetence again, absolutely. But we had an owner where, in my opinion, there wasn't really any kind of like aim to improve at all. So we completely stagnated, to say the least, during those years. So when you consider that, and like I say, then you fast forward to now, it is unbelievable, really, when you look at it on paper in the cold light of day. Like I said, there's still things we need to sort out in terms of the board. Then this summer has shone a light on that. But I'm just grateful, really. I'm really grateful for where we are now going forward.
Yeah. Win, people are roasting you in the chat, man. There's a few. What's going on here? Some comments. Let me get to some comments here, man. What's happened before we get to Peter? Carlos says, Win trying to look like David Dickinson. I don't know what that is. Win is banned on.
Says he looks like he's been dipped in creosote.
There you go. Come on, man. What's going on here, man?
You're out your mind, man.
Win. What's going on, man? There you go. That Steve says, "What? Win? Have you fell in a vat of creosote? What the heck is that? What is that?
It must just be we're having this light blue shirt on. That it's
You look like I don't know if you guys have that over there in the petrol station. People sell food, but you look like one of them hot dogs here in America that just roll all day in the
rollovers. Lovely, that
in the hot machine, man. By the end of the day, you're all dry and orange. What's going on, man? What's the matter with you? You go straight.
I tell you what Tim's just said there. 7 seasons in 14 in Europe, followed by 2 relegations.
Never mind that. We're talking about your tan. It's a bit
we're talking about your, right there, exactly, man. Did you spray tan? You got to open all the cracks. We have the same color everywhere. Oh my God!
Oh no, he's going to show his white bits.
Is that any? No, that's not good.
Man, you look fried, man. Somebody said
it is what it is.
Somebody said,
I'm going to show you I've done nothing.
It's just who we are.
Somebody said, "Oh, them brown nails, jaundice is kicking in." So well, you gotta make sure you check your liver, man. You look a little bit yellow. Peter, what do you make of the takeover? What are your thoughts, mate?
I think you've all summed it up pretty well. I mean, when it happened, sort of before the purchase happened, my feeling was I actually didn't think I was going to see it in my lifetime. It got to that point where Mike Ashley had dug his heels in for so long, and we know how stubborn he was. I seriously thought this geezer is just never going away, and we're stuck with him. So I massive relief when it happened. I think in terms of how it went, I think I would say the one player that epitomizes the whole takeover, how it went, is Bruno. That signing, I think, is a really good kind of reflection of the direction the club's went in since then. Mm-hmm. So happy days.
Happy days, man.
And what Tim said about togetherness coming back. Mm-hmm. And how much of that was actually, and Bruno particularly, how much of that do you think was attributable to Amanda?
Well, we're going to thank Amanda, of course.
Getting that togetherness instilled in the club,
No doubt.
Yeah, it seemed like she had a really big influence on that.
Yeah.
And someone needs to be the leader. Someone needs to, drive the bus, so to speak. And I think in those early days, she took charge, didn't she? And she said, "This is the direction we're going in, and everyone's going to be united." So
here's my take on it. We're gonna get to Boki on this, and this is gonna be a very cynical way of looking at it. And you can call it negative if you want, but I just think the way it is. Warren, thank you. It says win the Jordy Oompa Loompa. Exactly. There you go. Oh, they're coming at you now. They're coming out of the woodwork now, man. They're coming.
It's just who we are, mate.
It's just who we are, baby. It's just who we are. There's another one there, Dark Side of the Moon. Who's the orange? Win, come on, man. Oh my God!
It's obviously got something to do with celebrating the 4-year anniversary this afternoon. That's all I can put it down to. Or maybe it's just we're being out with Roy. I suppose that could have done it.
It could be the paints.
It could be about
paints, obviously.
You need to do that. Let me tell you something. After this show, it's probably too late, but you need to book an appointment. Immediately, man. We need to see them liver enzymes, how high they are right now, because you are proper knackered at the moment.
We are knackered. Well, I'm feeling on top of the world, trust me.
All right, man. All right, that's fine. By the way, the German FA has confirmed that Voltemada has joined up with the national team this evening after having the virus. So I guess it wasn't the flu after all. It was just, I don't know. But he's joined, so that means we will have the Voltemada live match on this Friday, I believe, at 1:20 p.m. No, not what, that'd be my time. 1:20 in the U.S., 7:20 in the U.K. So Germany versus Luxembourg, that is. So there you go. Voltemada should be playing. So we're gonna take a look. There you go. You never know, man. Don't underestimate people. Here's the go. The man that says there's no easy in the Premier League, that Luton can win the Premier League anytime. Now you're going to underestimate. Look,
you're betraying a lack of understanding the European geography there. Luxembourg's about the size of Rhode Island, man.
It's
I think, if you're born in Luxembourg, I think it's like national service, isn't it? You get a game for the national team if you're between the ages of 18 and 40. So that's one of them stupid internationals that there's absolutely no doubt about.
Crazy.
What do you call a what's it with glasses?
What do you call
it? Going away, is it?
Hey, wait, do not let this happen to you, man. Stand your ground, man. Don't let people bully you, man. Do not let people bully you. Boki, what do you make of the takeover, mate? What is it so far for you?
I think, as the lad said, before the takeover, you were sort of going to games, watching games, and it was almost a chore doing it. It was sort of, it wasn't enjoyable. It wasn't enjoyable. And the takeover, the first thing it brought was hope. There was hope that we could develop as a club and get better. And I think the communication by Amanda when she first came in was fantastic. It there was sort of a sense of momentum and that we're going forward. And to be honest, sorry, I've got a little lumpy throat there. I didn't think there would ever be a time when I'd be sitting thinking Newcastle United have won a trophy in my lifetime, the way things had went. Yeah. And, it sort of, if nothing else happens with the takeover, that's the crown and glory of it, that we won a trophy finally.
Yeah, definitely.
Just to put Luxembourg into perspective, I've just had a quick look. They got beat 3-0 off Georgia. Well, they're quite good now, but they weren't at the time. They got beat off 2-0 off the Faroe Islands at home. The Faroe Islands are the size of your back garden. They actually got a draw. I think it was their first ever point with Malta, which again is the size of your back garden. And they got a draw against Liechtenstein, which is probably twice the size of your back garden.
There you go. So they're no good then. Well, yeah, I mean that's the takeover. I mean, it's been great. I think it's only going to get better for us. And yeah, I mean, what else? I mean, it is what it is. Well, what I wanted to say was on the first man of stable because we do need to be thankful of what she did. But she's just a great salesman. That's what she was. She was a great salesman. She knew obviously what it would take, what it would end up getting her, and she knew that was it. She knew she had to do everything in her power to get it done. I'm pretty sure that was a personal thing, but in that particular by doing that, she obviously benefited all Newcastle United fans. She gave Newcastle United fans what they wanted, which is obviously getting rid of Mike Ashley. So she did great, and she's always been a good saleswoman, if you put it that way. And she's crafty. She gets the deal done. So she got what she wanted, and we got what we wanted. So it's a good deal for everybody else.
Yeah, I do think that there was a genuine passion and a genuine kind of drive from her to push the club forward. I know that sometimes these things come across as kind of PR, etc. But I do think with her that drive was completely genuine, and I think in the end, obviously, we overspent, didn't we? Do you know what I mean? So I think that enthusiasm probably overspilled a little bit, which we're kind of paid for with having let Anderson go and Minter. But at the same time, like I said, I think she was very much there to kind of push everyone forward and unite everyone. I think there did seem to be, again, I know, I agree, Chris, sometimes you've got to be cynical, but there did seem to be a connection there with her and everybody at the club, with the players as well. So I think this summer has shone a light on kind of, things that need to be fixed. So everyone knows that with the board this summer. So they need to look at her for the first sort of 2 years and look how kind of she pushed everyone forward to say, okay, we need that sort of drive and enthusiasm with obviously more measured approach to the finances, yes, but we need that spokesperson at the top there to be driving it like she did.
Yeah. All right, so let's get into Newcastle United because we got some news to talk about. First, there was a big rumor going around social media that Wissa had done his ACL, and obviously that got Newcastle United fans in. They were concerned about it, and Keith Downie came out with a post saying that I've checked this again today and hope and expectation remains that Yohan Wissa will be back in and around a month's time. No ACL injury. Difficult to tell which game he'll be back for exactly at this stage, but there's early hope of it being the week of Athletic Bilbao and also Brentford, which I don't know when that would be. I haven't looked at the calendar, but understand that he could have been back sooner with injections in his knee, but the player and club want to make sure he's right with the proper rehab. Neither wanted to risk it for a short-term gain. Also told his priority right now is getting back playing for Newcastle rather than the AFCON, as he wants to repay the faith the club showed him in this summer. So
5th of November, Chris. Athletic Bilbao's 5th of November.
Okay, so another month.
So 6 weeks.
Another month. I mean, what do you guys make of this whole situation? I mean, it's kind of weird anyway. I mean, we don't have a
I mean, we are used to the club not having full transparency, shall we say, on players' injuries. That happens. But the social media posts that have been going out saying out for the season and all of this, and then one kid tweets it who knows sod all about sod all, and all of a sudden other people say it and they tweet and then all of a sudden it's got multiple sources suggest that, and it's nonsense. As much as we kind of distrust the establishment press, they do have sources. Regardless of what anybody says, they do have voices that within the club that the likes of us do not have. So
And there's a common sense element here. If he's done his ACL, what's the point in hiding that? It's not like he's
Yeah,
going to run it off. They're like he's going to if he had done his ACL, he's missing this season. So they're just going to have to come out and say that sooner or later. So there would be absolutely no benefit at all to lying about it when it's going to come out in the very short term anyway. So
in
yeah,
the wash.
nonsense
And
stories.
by the way, that's not to say that something couldn't happen in the next couple of weeks. I don't know.
Well, really nothing can happen to
in his
worsen it.
treatment, well, no, but in his treatment, rehab, whatever, that all of a sudden there's a relapse, and he does end up being out for the season, and then all these guys, I told you first. I
don't think that can happen. I don't think you can go. You can't go to fix something and then end up with a heart attack. I mean, it's you can't do that. You can't be. The deadline can't be just say to go extreme end of November and then be out for the season, and that can't be either. I don't think. But what do you guys make? I mean, now we're in a tough predicament. Warren, we probably bring that up later on. EA Sports takeoff by PIF and Man City owners asking a question there. I think it's got to do with American owners, not so much Man City owners. But they have taken over EA Sports, which is a big gaming brand. FIFA, the famous FIFA video game. That's whether how is that going to benefit us? I don't have a clue. Maybe sponsorship, but I don't know. We'll be guessing at best. But what do you guys make of the Wissa situation, injury? I mean, right now we got Osula, who's not doing bad, but it's certainly an issue, isn't it?
It feels like the fact that we've got this predicament with Wissa, it feels like it's a bit of a knock-on effect from the whole saga that the club had in the summer with Isaac, right. And then obviously trying to said his name like the Rats, I should say.
Exactly.
Yeah, the Rats and Wissa. The whole saga with both players really. Getting Wissa in so late in the day, I just wonder how different it might have been if obviously in an ideal world if he came through the door earlier in the summer and had pre-season with Eddie Howe, got his fitness up to speed. That would have obviously been the ideal scenario, and I don't think this would have happened. This just feels like I said, it's like the injuries like. Coming into the door so late, we're paying the price for that a little bit, and it's not necessarily our fault maybe because obviously we're dealing with a player going on strike, which you can argue all day about how we dealt with that, but it wasn't an easy situation for the club, so I think they were kind of pushed into a corner a little bit. So yeah, it's gutting because he's a quality player. We've all seen. For Brentford, he really is. I think he's a top striker. So it's such a shame that once we get him in, he's suddenly injured. But mind you, it could be a massive boost when he does come back. If the lads can just keep it together between now and then, kind of keep up with the top six, having Wissa coming back, that could be a pretty deadly addition to the squad. So I just hope it's not any longer than what they're saying, but we'll see.
Timothy, what do you think?
Well, I'm glad that they're not going to go down the route of injections, because I'd rather they just make sure that he is absolutely 100% fit, and then get him in the team and get him in the squad. Do you know what I mean? I'd rather not go down the route of just give him some pain relief and let him run it off, etc. Like, I'd rather just bite the bullet and let him get 100% fit, and it's up to us to use what we have to the best that we can, and for Osula to step up when he is called upon. And to be fair, he does look a bit different, doesn't he? He looks like he's got the bit between his teeth now, Osula, and it is a chance for him to rotate with Valdemara and improve. So you've always got to look at the positives. You've always got to look at, okay, what can I use now then as an alternative? So I think it'll be interesting to see how far Sulis came along by the time Wissa's back. But obviously, like Peter says, it'll be like a massive boost when he is back, and hopefully we can get a bit of energy from that and get us further up the league wherever we are then.
Does it mean now though, a bogey, that Newcastle should look for a striker in the winter window, just in case?
I think it depends where we're at, doesn't it? If we're sort of Baltimore is scoring and we're doing okay, then I think we'll just have to ride out the tournament, the Congo tournament, and let wait for Wissa to come back. I think the big problem is Wissa coming back at the start of November. Yes, we've got a busy November and December, but basically he'll have to get his fitness up, and we're just going to be getting him ready for Congo, really, for the tournament over there. And just on the other point around the fact that people are saying like about his ACL, stuff like that, the big problem is like now, especially on like so YouTube and that, there's young YouTubers who are doing shows every day and they have to have headlines, and as soon as they read something, it's a full video done on it saying Wissa out for season, ACL gone. Whereas on like Sevilla, we'll have like a debate, like a discussion about it, and like we'll put points across there straight away, saying, "Oh, he's out, he's definitely out," and a lot of the time it's wrong, unfortunately. And I think that's part of the problem with fans. It's misinformation getting put out there.
Yeah.
Quick question. Sorry, Chris. Did you say that that there's a possibility that Wissa won't go to the AFCON?
Well, yes, because he wants to, according to Keith Downie, let me see here, also told that his priority right now is getting back playing for Newcastle rather than AFCON, as he wants to repay the faith the club showed him in the summer. So
that'd be simple, not like.
Oh, wow. I didn't know. No, I thought the way I read the article I read about that was that he was, even if he was fit enough for this international break, he wasn't going to go. I haven't heard anything saying he's not going to AFCON. I'm not saying you're wrong.
Well, it was Keith
Downie. He's not going to miss AFCON.
Right here. Keith Downie is saying it right here.
Well, what I would interpret what Keith Downie's saying is that he wants to get fit and playing for Newcastle as soon as possible. He's not just trying to get fit for the start of AFCON.
What do you do then? Because
going to go, and I don't think they can let him, can they?
Well, here's
they can't stop him.
He's got to go.
Again, I want people to know this because I've seen this many times in national teams. If the Congo calls him by paper, they do all that stuff, he has to go. But there's always communication. There's always communication. There's always, hey man, can I not go this time? I'm trying to, rehab, play for the team. It's always communication, and especially the best players, just like anything else, have different type of accommodations, of course, different type of influence. And I think Wissa is the best player of Congo at the moment. So it's just like Messi saying, I don't want to go to this friendly because I'm recuperating from this knee thing. Those conversations happen all the time. So that could be if he, I don't know if he's not saying probably I won't go to AFCON, but if
bear in mind, it's probably his last one because he's going to be 31 by the time it comes around.
It's every 2 years, though.
Yeah, I'm saying
it's every 2 years, and
he's 29 now, so he's going to be 31.
Man,
I don't think Congo would 2 years with.
Exactly, man. You don't get to have Zlatan Ibrahimovic playing.
The other thing about the injury is I don't think it was kind of fatigue related at all. It was the fact that in Senegal, against Senegal, in the World Cup qualifier, he got no protection at all from the referee, and he was literally getting kicked from pillar to post. So I don't think that was anything to do with him not having the pre-season to...
No, but nobody's saying that anyway. Nobody's saying that. He got hurt. He got a knee injury. But if, it's November. The AFCON is when? January? I mean,
December the 27th to start.
oh my God! So you better believe that Eddie Howe is not going to play him relentlessly, and that's still. I don't think that's enough time for you to really fully rehab and be 100%. So he's not really going to be playing a lot. I don't think he might come in as a sub every now and then.
I think Eddie Howe would probably say to Wissa, he'd probably say to him, "Look, is there any chance that you want to just stay here with us? No, you know, kind of like no harm in asking." But I think if he wants to go and play for them, you can't stop him.
Well, of course, 100%. If he's the one that makes the decision.
Yeah.
Really.
But I do think, though, man, just going back to what you said about the conditioning. I don't know. I just wonder with what you hear about the way Eddie Howe trains the squad. It just makes me wonder about would he have been, you know, his condition have been better to an extent whereby, you know, he's looked after his body for those weeks leading up to that game where he got injured. I don't know. I mean, it's all ifs and buts.
I don't think Eddie Howe can give you a bionic knee.
You never know. I mean, we'll see. But no, I do think, like, you know, maybe it would have had an effect that if
We're
he had that under his
back in
belt.
again, by the way. How are you? Enough of wins debacle lounge, whatever that is, and cheeky. I think Warren's been on the sauce again.
Ain't not the matter with that, man. Not the matter with that.
I think you've been on the orange sauce, mate. Enough of wins debacle, comma, tongue in cheek.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I thought it was lounge.
Come on, man. Win, what's the matter with you right now? Win, you're not your usual self, man.
Are you stupid or what?
Listen,
I am well and truly happy clappy mood today, man. It's the takeover anniversary. What's not to be happy about?
I think part of the thing to remember with Wissa is as well, he didn't have a pre-season, like a proper pre-season either. So he hasn't really been fully in training apart from when he went to the Congo. So that might have caused some of the issues with him getting injured.
Yeah, that's what I think.
No, but the point I'm making is that I don't think that's what it was. I think it was the fact that he was getting hacked to bits.
But no, the point I'm making is not around that, but his recovery's probably going to take a little bit longer as well because he didn't have pre-season, so he's got a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah.
Which is his own fault, we should add, for balance.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think that he's going to be fit to play in the literal thing, you know, that he's fit to play. The medic says he's ready to play now. He's ready to train, Eddie. And that means that all of a sudden he can just play whatever minute. No, I think that knowing Eddie Howe, you know, it takes ages for him to get anybody in, and much less.
Hold up a second, though, because I've got the fixtures here in front of me, right? If he makes it back for that game with Athletic Bilbao on the 5th of November, there is at least 9 games in the kind of 5 weeks he'd be playing before going to AFCON. 10 if we get past Spurs in the League Cup. And that's basically 2 games a week for all that time. So I think there's a lot of games there to reintegrate him, get him up to playing kind of 90 minutes.
Listen, I think at this point in time, we kind of need to do a little, you know, a little something.
Preservation Society.
Where he doesn't go. And you got to talk to him. You got to talk to. Oh, here we go. Come on, man.
Lumpa. What do we do? Lumpa.
Win. Come on, man.
It's just who we are, mate. It's just.
Hey, that's pretty good though, man. You got a good 10, man. You just gotta make sure you get all the creases. You gotta get all the creases, man. You know, good.
Liverpool. NUFC Talk.
Oh, Win. You're knackered.
That was quick, by the way.
We are knackered.
That was quick. Thanks to Irish Assassin. He got it done. All right, man.
Well done, Irish.
Well done, Irish, man. Oompa Loompa does look kind of Irish, though. Is he Irish? Anyway.
Oh, no, I thought you said Irish Assassin had done it.
No, Irish Assassin. Yes, he did. All right. So, yeah, I mean, the Wissas, again, that's going to be concerned. But I wonder now if we do need to go in and get a reinforcement because I don't know, man. I don't know. but he's never been hurt before. Well, maybe he
That's
has. I
it.
don't know, but he's not really.
That's just typical Newcastle, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's like what you said. I think it
Yeah.
depends on how we're doing at the time. I mean, if Wissa does go to the AFCON, then can you imagine how nervous it'll be watching him playing in those games, thinking he's going to get injured, you know? But I think if he would have stepped up and Walter still doing his thing, then maybe we can go with that for that period. It's hard to say until we're there.
If we're in a good position where we actually, going in the Champions League, knockout stages and really important games coming up, still got the Premier League. Maybe you're in the Carabao Cup, because at the time, and we're talking about Carabao Cup, what? Maybe quarterfinals or something like that. Semi, yeah. So, well, that's probably before the window anyway. But say you advance, are you really just going to trust Voltemata? Which I'm all for it, but I'm saying he can't play every game.
Can it?
Yeah.
Or can.
Loan. Yeah, no, I do agree. I think if we can get maybe a loan in, how Villa did last season with Rashford and Asensio, so a deal like that, maybe, because it's hard to get a striker in to say, come to us, but by the way, Wissa is going to be back in whatever month's time, and you're going to be competing with him and Voltemata. You know what I mean? So it's a bit of a hard sell. So maybe if we can get a loan striker in, I think that could be maybe a way forward.
Mm-hmm.
There's another factor in this, which the stories emerged that Eintracht Frankfurt are going to come back in for Sula in January.
Yes,
they're failing to buy him outright.
And
so I think that throws a whole another perspective on it.
Yeah, because Sky Sports here says Frankfurt are targeting January loan move for Newcastle United and Denmark and striker William Osula, who's been doing decent, to be honest, in the last opportunities that he's had. It looks different. I mean, I don't know. Somebody in the chat said there's nothing to the lad other than a better Osula. A better Miggy. But I think that he's looking a little bit different. I mean, Florian Plettenberg saying that he is on the radar for the winter transfer window and contact with his management remains ongoing. They're considering a loan deal for the 22-year-old striker. A move to Frankfurt collapsed on the previous deadline. So, I mean, obviously Newcastle has the say-so in this. I don't think he would leave, though. I mean, he's getting game time, with Wissa out.
Well,
he seems
you
happy.
definitely don't loan him. That's a non-starter.
Yeah. I mean, it's a big kind of few months coming up, really. I think for Sula, really, it's he's going to have to really show what he's made of now, because obviously Wissa being out, that he can be relied on if he's called upon. So I think that'll just have a massive say in as to what the club do in January. If he's on form, if he steps up, they might think there's no need to go in the market.
I think part of the thing is as well is what formation we're going to play moving forward. If we're thinking you're going to play Voltemata and Wissa together at times, you do then need a third striker really in to sort of cover that. So I think part of the window is Eddie or whoever's in charge at that point making the mind up on how they actually want to play, whether they want to go with two up front or whether they want to, to just stick with the one, and in which case you probably don't need another striker. Well, you don't need another striker.
Or you sell a Sula and use the money to get something more proven.
Are you going to get that money back though? I mean, that's the thing. Warren with 2 super chats there says the last one we should do a Villa come January, bolster that squad. Well, you would think. I mean, are we going to make any moves in January? Do we need help anywhere else? That's an interesting.
18 games before the window even opens, and there's 3 competitions to progress in, and we keep coming back to this, but you've just got to see how they go and where you're at come then.
One of the questions is because with Lewis, I know we're deviating from the striker. We'll get back to it, but with the left back and right back hurt, I don't know. There could be long-term injuries. Are we going to recall Target?
No chance.
We've already named the Premier League squad till the end of the year, so we can't play.
Oh, yeah.
So let's shut that one down.
Need chance, Bogan. Need chance.
There's just no chance. I mean, I think what we do need to think about is that we do need to get probably two new defenders that are younger, because the backup to we now is getting old. I mean, you've got Trips, Byrne, Shaw, and Kraft, and well, Lascelles sort of as backups, but they're all well into the 30s now. We do need to start getting backup players who are younger for the defence.
Or rely on the academy or the likes of Harrison Ashby. His name was mentioned the other day.
What's happened to Harrison? What's happened to him? He just seems to have disappeared off the planet.
He's injured at the minute, I believe.
Oh, is he injured?
He's not on loan, is he? Still.
He's not on loan,
no.
So, going back to the striker, though, Anthony Gordon has compared Nick Voltemada's style to Harry Kane. As I said before, Mighty Win denied it, but him and Gordon and I know a little bit about football. Let's take a listen at Gordon, what he had to say.
I think they do play a very similar style of football in terms of they want to almost be the quarterback. They want to come in and create. They don't just want to finish the chances like a typical striker would do. The amount of assists Harry's got in the past couple of years and over his career is outstanding. So for me personally, I think it helps me because my style sort of suits playing with that style of striker because I can run off them. If defenders want to go and engage with them, I can run off the back. So I think it's really positive for me and I really enjoy it.
There you go. So what do you make of that? Were you guys able to hear that? Yeah. So interesting. I said this before. He reminds me of Harry Kane. And Voltemada, when talking to the Premier League, did say his favorite striker was Harry Kane. So when do you want to take a moment to just look in the mirror and put some shame on your face? Because God knows you put mustard on your face today. So
he has got
Derek, if you're going to look in the mirror, stick some sunglasses on first.
He's the only similarity that I can see between him and Harry Kane is that they both tend to drop deep to receive the ball.
But they're playmakers.
But Harry Kane hasn't got his skill set at all, and he hasn't got a lot of Harry Kane's skills either.
What are you going about, man? Warren Denning, love the Ipswich left back. Hell across.
And he's a Geordie.
Is that right?
Davis.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Cheers, Warren. Thank you very much, mate. You almost got us to our goal, man. One more. Come on, folks, get involved. Hit the like button right now. We're locking on the like button. Come on, hit the like button and help us out. But what do you say, Tim? I mean, they're both creators.
Yeah, they can both see a pass, can't they? You know, and that is one of the quality things about Harry Kane, that he drops deep and can also unlock a door at times or ping a lovely ball out wide.
He knows where a striker wants it.
Well, exactly, aye. And Voltemada seems to be able to do that as well. So I agree, they are similar in that way, and that dropping deep in that number 10 position. And
I think they're both prolific scorers too, man. The way they score, what we've seen with Voltemada scoring, his style, his movement, what he does, he's very powerful. He can put the ball where he wants it. I mean, that's good.
Well, also, where was he when he hit the bar as well? On the 6-yard box, wasn't he? I know it was maybe a set piece, but he was there in the 6-yard box where good strikers are. And he was unlucky that didn't go in.
Exactly. And he can score with his head, unlike what Mighty Win said at the beginning of the season. Thank you very much, Joe Linton. There you go, locked up behind bars.
You're out your mind, man.
When can I just ask you a quick question? You said Kane and Baltimore don't have the same skill sets. In what way? What way don't they have the same?
Yeah, what do you mean by that?
What I mean
one is a numpty, the other one isn't.
His footwork, Baltimore's dribbling and footwork is different league to Harry Kane's.
I think Kane's an excellent dribbler.
Yeah, he can dribble, man.
Have you seen Kane play?
I know.
Yes, I've seen Kane play.
I think you're just enamored with the fact that he can just score goals hard and very good, very strong. So can Voltemada, by the way. But why can't you just appreciate what Kane has done for England And well, we did for Tottenham. You don't have to.
Hang on a minute. Who's not appreciating what Kane's done for England?
Yeah, but you don't know his game. You're diminishing Kane's game. Actually, everybody that I've talked to says that Harry Kane is not your typical striker. That that he's more. He's comfortable being. I've seen him in midfield many times.
It's very much a recent. I would say probably the last 2, 3 seasons at the most, that Harry Kane has dropped as deep as you see him dropping now. Prior to that, he was in the box 90% of the time.
He did it for Tottenham all the time.
He did. He honestly, for Spurs, he did drop deep. Like
he did. Man. He do it all the time.
Now he probably doesn't drop deep as much because he's old. He can't get up there, so he can't get back up.
I think he does it more now.
Oh, Win,
I'll give you an example. Win, do you remember when we beat Spurs 6-1?
Yeah.
Think of Harry Kane's goal in that game. He pulled right over to the left wing, picked the ball up from nothing, beat his man, cut inside, and brilliant finish across the goalie. That's not a tap-in Merchant's goal, and he scored a lot.
I'm not saying he's just a tap-in Merchant. What I'm saying is his game changed for me. He went from being a box player, purely a box player, to being a player who dropped out of the box, and that he did not do that all his career.
He has. Kane's never been just a striker up front by himself. He's always been the type of guy that would drop back.
Well, we'll agree to differ.
Yeah, he had to win that Tottenham team because the rest of them were hopeless. He had to come and get a ball for himself.
And that's when he started dropping back for England as well, when the rest of the team was hopeless.
Well, that's what Waldemar been doing lately because the ball doesn't get to him. So at least he says, I want to get to the ball. And he's been doing that. He's been doing that.
But mind you, what shows is...
Listen, if Waldemar can get anywhere near Kane's goal tally, there'll be nobody happier than me.
Well, that's the thing is that, they're both dropping deep, but they both...
You maybe need to add that element of his game
time,
getting on the end of things. I don't think,
a lot of the time,
it's that sort of thing managers say, isn't it? That they like a striker to score the odd shitty goal where they just tap it in and get on the end of things. And that's what we're missing a little bit at the moment. And if Waldemar can add that, then...
Waldemar, though, when strikers ordinarily drop deep, the goals reduce. You know what I mean? They kind of sacrifice and the goal tally. Ordinarily, you see that in strikers. That's what's so impressive with obviously Waldemar, but Kane especially in the long run. For so long now, even when he's dropping deep, he's still top scorer season after season. So he's the best. Like he's hopefully Waldemar can follow suit.
Cheers, Warren. Wins biggest dribble. Dribbler.
Wins the biggest dribbler.
Dribbles worth. Says Warren. Thank you very much, Warren. Appreciate that. Tonali. We got to talk about Tonali. I mean, he had a secret meeting. Well, people say secret meeting, but I mean, he's from Milan, so I mean, the fact that he's going to Milan when in the international break, I don't see really the big deal. But I mean, apparently his agent was there with a meeting with somebody. I don't know. But before we get to that, Paul Scholes, who is a proper midfielder, can we agree to that? I don't agree with a lot of his takes, but I do agree with this in particular. He spoke about Tonali. I have not heard this clip before, but hopefully it's not clickbait, and he says what the title says. He says, let's go.
We were in the league.
Yeah. I love Tonali as well.
I love Tonali.
I love Tonali at Newcastle. Honestly, I think
he can run.
He can run, yeah. I think he's been brilliant. Gomares as well. Very good. I'd probably choose Tonali at this point.
Best midfielder in the league?
Yeah. Well, you're going to say Declan Rice?
Over Declan Rice?
Yes, I think he's better than Declan Rice.
I don't think there's anything that Declan Rice can't do on a football pitch. I think Declan Rice can do everything
lift
Tonali can.
Look, I really like Declan Rice. I think he's got everything. I just think too many times he takes too many touches of the ball. I think he tries to look a little bit more stylish than he needs to do. I think he's got physical attributes are brilliant. I think he can be a box-to-box. I think he can score goals. I just don't think he does it enough. I prefer Tonali. Is okay?
There you go. Prefer Tonali, Paul Scholes. I mean, I've been saying this for a long time. I would rather have Tonali over Declan Rice, over Caicedo. I've said this before when they even before they even kicked the ball in the Premier League. Well, I mean, or that transfer window where everybody moved, obviously. I saw a numpty stat says that Declan Rice has more goals than Tonali in the Premier League. Duh. One's been playing in the Premier League all his life, and the other one hasn't. So that's kind of a given. But Irish Assassin, thank you for the super chat. $5 says goes against all the morale fiber in my body.
Thank you, Irish.
Regret, but I have never released him. Just do the anniversary free win. There you go. We're gonna free you, mate. Thank you very much, Irish. So, what do you make of that, Tando Tonali? I mean, he's been going under the radar a lot.
Exactly. Let's keep him there.
Well, exactly. If you heard the kind of like disgust or like surprise in that person's voice when he's like,
"It's an Arsenal fan."
Over Declan Rice, like you say, this person over years hasn't been watching Tonali. Otherwise, he wouldn't be kind of like flummoxed at that suggestion by Paul Scholes. So I just keep it that way.
Let's keep him down there.
Right.
Well,
did you notice as well? There's a bit that kind of went like wasn't so obvious there, where the guy goes, "Tell me something that Declan Rice can't do on the football pitch," and Jamie Carragher says, "Lift trophies."
But
he's done that, of course, with West Ham.
He did it with West Ham. He did.
Right.
But exactly, Wayne. Thanks for
obviously Declan Rice is a quality player, but I agree with Scholes in that like sometimes he holds on to the ball. He takes a lot of touches when he doesn't need to. And he's a bit not cumbersome, but he hasn't quite, I would argue, got the technique necessarily that Tonali has in terms of that first time pass and that quick release.
Tonali for me, that is his whole game. The one touch, touch. He knows what he's going to do with that ball before he receives it. Knows where
I'll tell you
everybody
that
is.
I was saying last summer about Rice in the Euros. I was saying then that he fights the ball. It's just like Scholes said today. He does take too many touches. I kind of called that out last year. I thought, yeah, he's a good player, but whether he's kind of world class, I'm not sure. So I would say Tonali is better, but yeah, let them underestimate him. Just let us back on.
Let's keep him under that radar. Thanks very much.
Quick answer to this: would anybody swap Rice for Tonali? Because I certainly wouldn't.
But
I wouldn't swap anybody for Tonali.
Arsenal fans got on comments and said, well, the one of them said the really simple answer to this is one plays for Arsenal, the other one for Newcastle. As if that is a a negative thing. But I mean, everybody that can see straight can see that Tonali is a great. He sees the game before it happens, which is insane. And passes are incredible. So I mean, Tonali, I mean, he's incredible. And I said it again, he's better than Declan Rice, better than Caicedo, and I wouldn't swap him for McAllister either. So it's to me, we are. If Pardew, I gotta agree with Pardew. We got the best midfield. Well, he said it, not counting Liverpool, that he thinks that we got the best midfield in the league. I think we got the best midfield in the league. Joe Linton is dropping the quality a little bit. So we got to get that sorted. But if we were able to get, what's his name from Forest, Anderson, I might start looking a little different, man, because that is one midfield and a half, if I'm honest. But I don't know if that will happen either.
Just a quick point to the Arsenal fans as well, if there's any watching. Is this the Newcastle era trophy winners last year? And Arsenal who won?
Right. Exactly. That was exactly what Jamie was saying until Wynn destroyed his joy and joke.
It didn't lift the trophy for Arsenal though. It was for West Ham.
Right. Sheila Little here says put Wynn back in and out. Shake it all about party day. There you go.
How was Sheila? I thought you were my pal.
Nah. There you go. Back in lockdown. By the way, I want to share with you some stats on Malik Chiao, Newcastle's defender game by numbers versus Forest. 98 minutes played, 54 touches, 40 out of 44 passes completed, 40 out of 44 passing completed. 7 recoveries, 6 duels won, 3 interceptions, 2 clearances, 1 big chance created that Sells got with his toenails out of there. I mean, this guy is absolutely incredible. Only Wayne doesn't think he is. But everybody, I mean, come on. Everybody with common sense, what the heck, man? We got another Tonali, you know. You know what I'm saying? Another cheap discovery. I mean, we just need to keep buying Milan players.
Simple.
Well, hopefully he has no betting issues.
Well, if we want a left back, they've got a good one.
They got a good one. No, but they got Hernandez, don't they? Hernandez is his name. Is a French guy, Spanish guy. But what do you guys make of Malik Chiao? I mean, incredible. We're gonna get to Bruno's take on this though, because he said something that Wim is not gonna like. But Jamie, go on.
Oh, love him. I'm just really someone that stood out for me straight away that I think I'm gonna really, really like. I love a centre half with a bit of flair.
Right.
He just seems to have that thing about him reading the game. A couple of little twists and turns he's put in, tricks on the ball. And I think the crack is you could be looking at him and Botman being a partnership for a long time yet.
Yeah, exactly.
But is replacing your man?
Is Newcastle United?
But that's progression, isn't it? Like Shearer and Byrne are in the early 30s, and they should be content as being kind of coming in and relieving those guys, you know, late subs and cups and things for a couple of years, and until we can get another player through, more young players to threaten them, rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
It's a game.
I think, Jimmy, when you said there that obviously Byrne should be replaced by Botman, Win went from orange to red.
No, because it's a perfectly valid point to have. I don't argue with that.
Well, Bruno in the press conference said on Botman and Chiao, Malik Chiao and Sven Botman are the future of this club. He said they are very comfortable with the ball. I don't know if that's a dig. That could be a very comfortable with the ball. They don't feel the pressure. They have been amazing together. Talking about Chiao, said surprised me a lot. He's very good with the ball and without the ball. He's quick, smart, and breaking the lines. So, what's your issue with Malik Chiao, man?
I don't have an issue with Malik Chiao. I don't have an issue with Sven Botman.
So let me ask you a question. I've just
got an issue with the knockers at Dan Byrne.
I've gone to get me suit measured.
So let me ask you, if a straight up question, plain and simple, give me a surname, Chiao or Byrne, who would you play if it comes about choosing
Chiao
one?
Or Byrne?
Yes, Chiao or Byrne in that particular position. Who would you choose?
In what? Right centre back?
Whichever. He can play both. Chiao can. It doesn't matter. You're just moving 6 yards over, man. It ain't a big deal.
But left centre back Dan Byrne every time.
Over Chiao?
Yeah. You're saying he can play there, but he doesn't play there.
Yeah, because the manager tells him you're on this side today. That's how it works, man. So, but why?
That's where he plays well.
Jamie, if it's about Chiao or Byrne, as wherever, whichever position, which one would you choose?
And pound for pound, I'd choose Chiao, but I do take Derek's point that one's better on the left, one's better on the right. So it depends what you're playing with.
Players nowadays, they can play. It's right there, man. Any. It's literally in the same position.
You keep saying that, but they can't.
Yeah. Says who?
But I tell you what, though, Derek, I do think this is one position where it's become a bit over the top because, how often in the past, how long has it been a thing that you've needed a right-footed centre-half and a left-footed centre-half? It's never really been a thing. I think Eddie just plays that to get better, small percentages.
Botman can play on the other side too.
I think for some reason though, I think left footers don't seem to adapt as well on the wrong side than right footers do on the wrong side. I mean, I do agree. Botman last season when he played there, to me, I don't think it was disaster. I think he played well as a right-sided centre back, but I don't think it's something that Eddie Howe was necessarily in favour of if it could be prevented. So I think that the thing with Chow and Botman, like Bruno said, is those punctured passes forward where they're quick and they break the lines. And Dan Burn, he is good in the ball. I think he is underrated on the ball.
Exactly.
I think all our centre backs are. And just because he's like a no-nonsense centre back doesn't mean that he can't handle the ball. But the difference with Botman and Chow is that I think they play it forward quicker. And when you do it quicker, you're able to break the lines easier and go forward. And I think that's the advantage you have with those two.
I have an interesting comment here from Mason. He says, do you lads think Chow moves like Van Dijk on the pitch? I've said it here. I've said it here, man. I've said it here. He is the next Van Dijk. And you better
I was going to say, yeah, like, he's never phased. He doesn't look phased one little bit when he's got a striker or a forward on his shoulder. Like, he looks so assured on the ball. And like Tim says, like, whatever he's going to do, whether he's going to pass it sort of like square or whether he's going to turn, ping a ball forward, whether he's got a striker chasing him down, he's going to do it anyway. And he's in control. He never looks like he's not in control. So I've been really impressed with how he started. I mean, I think he's got to start the way he's playing. You've got to keep him in there.
I think the other thing to remember is as well, we've got a lot of games this season, so there's going to be times when Byrne and Shaw are going to play together. So it's
but Boki, that's really think about it. That's only going to happen on the games where the games here and there, because the Champions League games and the Premier League games and also cup games that really are important, semi-finals, quarterfinals, and finals, if we get there, is you're going to have to play the best. And
that's everything.
That's exactly.
But the point, that's what I'm saying. So, but you're gonna tell me that we're in a cup final, and if Byrne played there against Bramley 2 months ago, that in a cup final you're gonna play Byrne and Shar. No, you're not. You're gonna play.
You love injuries and suspensions as well as rotation. So I would say, with all that in mind, there should be enough games to give Shar and Byrne the fair share.
Very good, a fair share.
Yeah, but we're not being honest. We're being disingenuous here, because you know that on the important game, it's going to be Chow and it's going to be probably Botman. You got to put the best. Or what are we going to? We're going to go about feelings. I don't think that's the way it go. Sheila with the £5 there says, go on and free win and put Boki back in. Oh, we got Boki in there. Oh, that's crazy, man.
Chris, I think you need to lower your bar slightly for what is an important game. In terms of
a semi-final,
the Champions League, the Premier League, and the later knockouts of the cups, because that's everything apart from like 3 games.
Yeah,
I know that.
For example, we could be playing the quarter-final of the FA Cup and the round of quarter-final, in fact, of the Champions League in the same week.
Yeah, and that means Chow
and could have Liverpool in between them.
Well, that Liverpool Premier League game will have to rest. We probably put Byrne on that one. Yeah, but the point is, the most important games, you're going to have to play the best, man.
But that's the question. What do you class it as the
most
important?
I'll take your point in that Eddie Howe ideally will settle on a partnership going forward. I take your point in that. And I think in the future, it was obviously nailed on to be Chow and Botman if things went well. But the way things have turned out with Shar's injury and with the return of Botman and Chow's form, the way it is now, really, you have to, in my opinion, have those two cemented until something goes wrong, if it goes wrong, whether
until
it's form
Botman gets injured again.
Well, listen. Let me tell you something. And this is a straightforward thing here. If Botman gets injured again, then that just means you got to make a decision, because you can't keep fighting around with the player. That's unfortunate. It's not his fault, maybe, or it is. I don't know. That he keeps getting hurt. You got to move on as a club. You got to be the best. And if a player is not reliable, then you got to make a decision. So You know, if he gets hurt again, that's his problem. But you got to look for a center back.
But can I just pick Win up on that point as well? He has been injured for like a couple of a lot over the last couple of seasons, but you can't pick the team around and you've got to pick the team around your best players, and Botman's the best player in that position. You can't not pick him because he's been injured for a couple of seasons.
No, you got a point. But if he gets hurt again, that's a pattern. That's
evident. If he gets hurt again, then you have to look at it. But you can't not pick him as the best player in that position simply down to the fact, he may get injured again. Mm-hmm. If you do that, then you could say, well, we don't pick Wissa up front because he may get injured again. You can't have that as part of your plan.
But Wissa hasn't got a long history of injuries, whereas Botman has.
Well,
what are you about Wissa now?
Ramsey. You can't pick Ramsey because he may get injured again.
Yeah.
Well, again, I was very skeptical about the Ramsey purchase. I mean, I didn't get us wrong. When he's fit, he's a good player.
Are you kidding? You said that this was the best transfer window ever, according to you.
Oh, here we go, man. Has it been a bruising summer?
Is Ramsey an improvement on Longstaff?
Yes.
Right. Yes. There you go. Right.
Different sort of player, isn't it? I think as well, what you're running out of with Botman is Dan Burn has been a brilliant backup for him. Like, whenever he's had all his injuries, Burn's done really well at left centre back. And I think with his age, you can't rely on that for ad infinitum. So I agree with Chris. If Botman breaks down again, it's anything serious, you've got to start thinking about, well, maybe this guy isn't going to be someone we can have as our first choice for the next 5-10 years. And you need to be thinking about that position in this summer or the year after, whenever it comes to a head,
I mean, it's,
if he's got any niggles, though, if he's got any niggles at all, for me, just don't risk it. You know what I mean? Just definitely then rotate him.
True.
And the two his ACL, that's a big thing.
Botman only had 2 injuries. One was ACL. So it certainly feels a lot more than 2 injuries. And there's been a lot going on as well. Like he didn't want to have surgery, or he didn't. You remember that? It's remember that time. So
Yeah. It feels like they told him to run it off, didn't it? An ACL injury.
Yeah, and it ended up being an ACL, that was insane. Of course, Lascelles got the same injury, I think, and they were all out. So that's an interesting. Talk about injuries, by the way. Dan Burn was pictured today with England with appears to have an injured his left hand following the second half collision with a Forest player during Sunday's game. He's shown with a cast on his left hand. So when sorry for your loss there, because I know that's how it's going to feel. But yeah, it looks like he's knackered. But I mean, it's just a hand anyway. So.
Sven Botman has missed a total of 59 games for Newcastle since signing in 2022.
How many? Out of how many though, and how many of them were the ACL?
Well, 22. So that's 3 seasons. So say 120.
Well, no. Don't say no. Don't present half a statistic, Derek.
Exactly.
I think part of it as well is you can't just keep going back to his injuries when there's been other players injured and then they've come back. I mean, look at Tino now, he's injured. Look at Paul, he's been injured and they've had long-term injuries in the past. Sometimes you've just got to give if it's the best player, you've got to give him a chance. You don't keep referring back to people's injuries.
He always gets a chance.
Who?
Botman?
Well, not from you. You'd still have Burn.
I would have, but Botman, I don't think Botman's ever been dropped when he's been fit.
I wasn't making that point. What I'm saying is you shouldn't just be using the fact that he's been injured as an excuse for trying not to play him or to say he's not a good player. He's the best player we've got in that position, and you've got to give him if he's fit, you've got to give him a chance.
Who is it? That's an interesting question, though. Who do you guys think is better at the moment, Botman or Burn? I mean, a lot of people obviously going to say Botman. I think that if you do pound for pound, but I mean, why do some people do pick Burn? Because there's three or four people in Newcastle that say Burn.
I think it's because he's been so reliable. He has been so reliable. Say again.
He's been reliable. He says, yeah.
Yeah.
To be
yeah.
honest,
So
I would struggle to argue with Byrne being played ahead of Botman. If that's Eddie's choice, then I wouldn't agree with it, but I wouldn't have a particular argument with it. In that, I think Botman's the better player, but if we're going off this season and then the last season, then Burns earned that place.
he's never let us
four
down, really.
season can say that they've played brilliantly. So, like you said,
Botman has played 65 games and missed 59.
Well, the stats on his side. He played more than what he missed, but I don't know if that's saying much.
But just 65 against 59.
Yeah.
I think
Is that
overall
since
it's good to see
June
Botman.
22?
But like we said earlier, Botman's kind of pass and distribution gives him the edge. I think
Overrated.
Dan Burn.
Since he's
Overrated.
I think
If you look at the passing stats, his passing accuracy, in other words, percentage of completed passes, is great. But the amount of those that are actually, really penetrating, effective forward passes are negligible compared to all his passes to trips and share.
But when can I
You've been doing some collating.
The number of
like,
times he
Win.
gets the ball with green space in front of him and doesn't run into it, still just passes it, 4 or 5 yards forward or even sometimes backwards.
But when can I pick you up on this again? You had the argument about Chow the other day as well, that he wasn't going for $1 million balls every time. You were saying that he's not. He only had one attempt at playing the long ball, and it didn't.
Which was
go
very, very unlucky, by the way.
Yeah, but you don't want them playing that all the time. They
Well,
are.
I'm not talking about share Hollywood balls. I'm
chance-
talking about having the ball in the middle of the park as a centre back when you've got nobody 20 yards in front of you and still not carrying the ball forwards, just spraying it left and right.
But you've got to ask: is that what they're being coached?
Well, it could be. I'm not saying it's not, but all I'm saying is that
the other
Botman
question is,
is
well,
way overrated in terms of his forward passing ability.
But you've got Tonali who plays in that back role. Would you rather Botman plays the ball forward, or would you rather he got it straight to Tonali and he plays the ball forward? I don't know who my choice would be. 100% Tonali.
But maybe not Tonali, but
just to say, I think Dan Burn is underrated in terms of distribution. I'm not. I don't want to come across like I'm kind of saying he can't play out from the back, because he can. He is good on the ball, but I mean, correct us if I'm wrong. Maybe you've seen the stats, Win, but I just feel like maybe Botman is, like Tim said, a little bit similar to Charwin in the way that he's kind of like a bit quicker to kind of distribute the ball. Maybe Burn. My feeling, anyway, is that he just hold on to it a bit longer than what Botman would. But don't get us wrong; they're both good at playing it out.
Yeah, they are both good.
I think Burn's underrated that way a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, I think Burns underrated and Botman's overrated in that respect.
Right. Here we go.
All I'm saying is.
No, we know what you're saying, man.
Burns Well, I am saying that, obviously.
You'll never ever beat Dan Burn. He's from blind. He's from blind.
That's not going. Look at that.
You'll never ever beat Dan Burn. He's from blind.
Have some shame, man.
You're out your mind, man.
Listen, let's finish with Newcastle. A scary moment for Newcastle United, Bruno and Joe Linton, as they're forced into an emergency U-turn, plane malfunction, delaying their arrival for an international duty amid grueling round-the-world trip. I think they're going to Asia somewhere. So that's
Korea.
We've seen that stuff happen before, man, and has not ended well. So, man. That's weird. Hopefully they're well and they travel safe, because I'm sure that would have been scary if I was part of that. But either way, we'll be back again tomorrow with the 12 p.m. show. And join us for that one, of course. Don't forget to smash the like button on your way out. Thank you very much, all of the folks that have super chatted on YouTube. Thank you very much to Warren Din multiple times, Queen of Heart, Hell Suzar, gifted a membership, Dark Side of the Moon there as well, participating. Warren, plenty of times. Thank you very much. Joe Linton, Irish Assassin as well as Sheila Little. Thank you very much, all of you out there, for supporting the channel. Thank you to helping us reach our goal of 10 super chats. Certainly done that. Thank you very much, all of you. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Win, Jamie, and Boki. We, ladies and gentlemen, are celebrating the anniversary. So happy anniversary to all the magpies out there. You little birds flocking around. Finally, we got our wish. And
Finally, we are free.
So more, thank you to Super Chatters, though. We're going to definitely set up an appointment for Win to go see somebody. Because, I mean, you know, he is yellow, man. Yellow. The yellow man. Unbelievable.
I look more red than yellow on my screen, to be honest.
Oh, you got jaundice, man. I'm telling you. You gotta go outside, man. Lay under the sun. Well, you got no sun in Newcastle. That's the problem. That's the issue, man.
Well,
anyway, folks.
Thank
you very much, all of you, for supporting. We'll see you in the next one, folks. Bye-bye.
Hello, lads.
How are the lads?